Hey, Strong Mom Society. I'm going to give you some information that I want you to digest and then start to apply to all of the workouts that you're doing on this platform. Now, you know that I emphasize the importance of diaphragmatic breathing a lot in every single workout that we do, every exercise, everything. And this is why it's so important. Your diaphragm triggers what's called your parasympathetic nervous system. Our bodies have two nervous systems. There is parasympathetic and there is sympathetic. Parasympathetic is rest and recovery. This is digestion, reproduction. This is the breath that we go into when we sleep at night. We lay down on our backs, that belly starts pumping up and down. We're not chest breathers when we're sleeping at night because we're using that diaphragmatic breath and it's turning on all of those recovery systems in our body, the systems that we need to get through day-to-day life. The sympathetic nervous system is fight or flight. So this is a stress breath, which will often look like breathing up here in your chest and shoulders, or when it's really bad, people's heads will actually move as they take that big breath in and out. And that is a sign that you're not turning on your parasympathetic nervous system of rest and recovery. You're staying in that fight or flight mode a lot. And the thing about evolution is that our bodies were not programmed to deal with constant stressors. The constant stressors that we have today of, we're just constantly bombarded with emails and messages and news and all of those notifications that come in on your phone all day will send you into that fight or flight or that sympathetic nervous system. So what we have to do is start to train our bodies in a way that overrides it. And this is important for pregnancy and postpartum because the last place you want to be is more stressed out. This breath up here, breathing with your chest and shoulders, neck, all of these muscles 20 to 25,000 times a day, not only will create a lot of trap, neck, upper body pain, but it also sends adrenaline and cortisol to your brain. So you can imagine if you're pregnant or in postpartum recovery or just parenthood in general, there's already a lot of adrenaline and cortisol with the stress of those, this part of our journey of life that we don't need to be adding to it with our breath through emails, relationship problems, etc. So what I want you to start to do is think about these two systems during your workout. Rest and recovery versus high intensity, I'm being chased by a tiger, shut down all those recovery systems and just get out of here. That's what happens when we go in and out of cardio or high intensity. A cardio workout is still really stressful on our bodies, but yes, we need it for cardio, we need it for building up that heart muscle and endurance, but we also have to make sure that we're coming out of that stressful zone and going back into rest and recovery. Rest and recovery is what's going to turn on your digestion. For anyone that's got any kind of digestion issues, acid reflux, IBS, constipation, those are all signs that you probably aren't fully using your diaphragmatic breath, that you're breathing up here. It also goes into the systems of reproduction. So growing a baby, healing in postpartum, infertility. My clients that are struggling to get pregnant, we focus a lot on that diaphragmatic breathing just to get back into that parasympathetic nervous system versus the stressed out system. So this diaphragm has so many benefits, and it's also, your diaphragm's a major muscle in your core. So if your diaphragm isn't working at the top of your core, it means everything below it isn't able to fire and function properly. If that diaphragm's on, your glutes aren't going to fire right. You're going to have lower back pain. You're going to have compensations in other places because a major muscle in your core isn't working for you. So I cannot stress enough the importance of mastering this diaphragmatic breath. And what I want you to do this week is to notice during your workouts, where are you breathing up top? This is, stressed out zone, cortisol, adrenaline. And when are you breathing into your lower ribs and belly? And you see that lower belly movement. And I want you to do a really quick exercise with me right now. I've got a timer. I'm going to set a timer for 1 minute. You're going to do any high intensity exercise. First step is to turn on that diaphragmatic breath. So stand back. I want you to get that belly moving. Place both hands on your belly. Close your eyes. Just, wiggle out your knees a little bit so you're not locked out and stiff. And I want you to breathe all the way down to the bottom of your pelvis. So you're going to look for this pinky finger down here, and you're going to see if you can get some movement So it extends on your inhale and a little bit of pulling in on your exhale to really emphasize full breath in, release, and then engagement on that exhale. You can think of your core as a balloon. As you take air into the balloon or put air into the balloon expands. And then as you take the air out, we've got a little bit of a core wrap. Hug the baby if you're pregnant. Think of those core muscles coming in if you're post or parenting. Good. So I'm going to set this timer for 1 minute. You are going to do any exercise that's going to make you a little breathless. And this could be anything. I'm going to start with just some step outs here. This is low impact. If you want to add weights, feel free. You go into full jumping jacks if you are jumping. But as you do this, I want you to notice, when does your breath start to shift out of that lower belly? Maybe it happened right away. When does it go into that upper chest? Can you still stay in tune with that lower belly moving in and out? Do you have any awareness of your pelvic floor? We are 35 seconds in. I'm going to switch this up. Just going to go side to side. Raising those, if you're doing low impact, get those arms above your head. That'll help get your heart rate up. Pull down. 10 seconds to go. Up the intensity a little bit here. Good. I'm going to go back to those jacks to make sure that my heart rate's really up. And it gets me into that chest breath. 2 and 1. Good. Now watch. My first few breaths are up here. You're probably going to notice the same in yourself. But what I do in every workout is I put my hands on my belly and I start to pump right away. That's going to override the system faster. You're going to recover faster. You're going to turn those core muscles on faster. So if you're in a workout and you only have a 20-second recovery, start to pump, get that diaphragm to turn on so that rest, recovery, rejuvenation in your body can start to click on right away. Otherwise, you risk staying up here the whole time. This is burnout, this is fatigue, and then you go back into your second interval. So you're already exhausted without giving your body, you reach that high for the endurance, or the high intensity, turn on the diaphragm to hit the low. So you're training your body in these peaks and valleys versus just turning on high intensity and keeping it on. And think of it this way. We tend to live in this high intensity place throughout our day. The last thing you want to do during your workout is bring yourself up even more and keep it there. So I recommend interval training for all of my clients. If you're building endurance, this is a great way to do it. You build that endurance by making longer intervals, shorter recovery. But I still want you to go from the high to the low as you're thinking about training. It's going to make you stronger, faster, more efficient, less likely to injure yourself, and those workouts a lot more enjoyable. Have a good one, guys.